the glen. Robin Hood, with his band of men, feared by the bad, loved by the good. Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood.
It's the Merry Men Show with your host, Robin Hood. Hello, Robin.
Hello, and thank you very much. And I've got to start the show with an absolute massive pat on the back, I believe, because your show the other night had me and a few of the guys that were here absolutely stuck to the radio. It was fabulous. Absolutely, honest to God, it was fabulous. But I've got to take my hand out, and if I had one of those round of applause buttons, you'll be getting a standing ovations worth. Because
can I go now before it all goes downhill? No, it was really good, and it's just chiseling away at all the little sort of refinement things to keep on getting it moving. And you know, the more you kind of listen to how the pros do it, the more you go, they do it that way for a reason. It's because it motors, and you know, it was great. And Kizzy, who was on last night, she's so fluid and lively and energized, you know, and it's easy. So
what an absolutely lovely woman. She was really, really well. I thought she did marvelous.
Oh, she's fantastic. Well, she's got a show here on Wednesdays, you know, Robin.
Eric, I thought it was so dry. It was like a dry martini. It was as dry as the Sahara Desert. He was. Oh,
I know. Well, if there's the first time you've bumped into him, that's absolutely fine, because I say this, and he knows that I said this about him, he's the human equivalent of a saucy British seaside postcard. Imagine that in human form, and you've got Eric, because it's just nothing but non-stop toilet jokes and double entendres about everything. And why not? We're going to have a bloody good laugh, as he would say, and he's right to say it, whilst we're on this journey. You know, you've got to just sort of take a break every now and again and crack your sides laughing at the sheer madness of it all. So you do.
But I just found, I mean, as you know, I use my testaments, and I use them in document forms and stuff like that. But I was just so, we were hooked. We were, honestly, from when we joined it, unfortunately we joined a little bit later, but we literally got on it, and we were hooked till the end. I mean, I nearly did it. I nearly did a bit of a cheeky and rang you, but I thought, no, I'm on tomorrow, so I won't overdill the airwaves.
You can call in any time you like. I don't mind. I mean, we've been putting out for calls, and this is probably the same for everybody else, but it's just a matter of getting it up and running. So once people have sort of, you know, popped their cherry and everything and called in once, I'm hoping they'll do it again. We haven't had many. I think if we were in the US, all of us would be you'd be inundated with calls, because they're not backwards about coming forwards, which I really like, you know. So it's just taking a bit longer to warm people up, but it's. No, it was a lot of fun last night. I didn't get to bed till about 1 o'clock. I was knackered, and because there's always stuff to do afterwards and stuff. But no, it was a lot of fun last night, and we're looking to keep building on for all the shows. And also, just to let you know, I think a clap on the back is due to you, Robin, because guess what? First of all, you're crystal clear, so we can bloody well hear you, and you haven't dropped out yet, and it's just epic.
Listen,
I love it.
Listen, I'm so pleased that you've mentioned that, because it reminds me, I've got to put a massive shout out to my technical wizards.
Yeah.
The giant Indian that came across and said, no more, we're having this nonsense, and literally spent all day here, ripped everything apart and started again. He literally just renewed everything. And so a big, massive thank you to one of the merry men, Big Old Suck and Alex, who helped and just did absolutely everything to ensure that we got this perfection tonight.
Great. It works. See, it makes a huge difference. It really does. Now we're all connected. I feel as though I'm sat right next to you, of course, which must be a bit worrying for you. But, you know, I can almost feel your shoulders rubbing up against mine. I bet Gary can too. So it's all, you know, it's just grand. And it makes it all intimate and cozy, doesn't it? Isn't it nice?
Yes, we're all there now, aren't we?
We bloody well are.
We just need the open fire and the cocoa and the dressing gowns of gentlemen of another era. You know, to sit there in our pontifications and just chunter about the good, the bad, and the bloody ugly, which is the state. So let's get straight to all that melancholy out of the way, and let's get to it. I sent you a document. I don't know if you've read it.
I must confess today it was a bit too busy. I did threaten to read it, didn't I? But I never got round to it, Robin. My apologies.
No, good, because that saved you a bit of time. Because I'm only going to touch on that tonight because I want to see if we can get it up. I'm also going to send, I think I've sent it to Satoshi, who's going to put it on the Bitcoin network. So it can't be removed. Done.
Yep.
It's fabulous. This is part 1. And there are 2 more parts to come out on this.
Okay.
So I'm only going to drop this in at the minute because I've got some rather, what I think is fundamental news tonight, which is that things are starting to seriously shift. We can now see Parliament falling apart on its thing. Labour is going down and down and down every day. And there is going to be a massive, hopefully,
We gaan stunten met aanmerken.
reveal at the Wrexham Festival.
The one at the airfield.
Yep, I don't want to say any more than that at this present moment in time. But let me tell you, this will open the floodgates upon the state, I believe.
We're all ears, but we're going to have to come to Wrexham, aren't we?
We are, because it is going... and I promise everybody it will be worth there. I have to get clarification. I've got certain documentation about certain things that have gone off. And this is going to be a proper game changer. I can't say too much tonight, but it will be exposed there. And then straight after Wrexham, the first Friday after Wrexham, we'll be doing it live here and putting it out to the masses.
Fab.
It is going to be a fundamental shock and confirmation of all our hard work. And I don't just mean mine. I mean everybody's within the free... I hate that word, the freedom movement. I really do. It's not a freedom movement. It's our rights movement. It is.
I thought you were going to say it's like a
puppet.
long delayed bowel movement that we've been meaning to have for a long time.
Yes. Whereas this is our rights. It's not for them to piss about with, take away, or change. This is us stating as fact, I'm this, I'm not that. This is what you can and can't do. This is what I've agreed to. All the rest of it is your presumption. Now, presumption and take a long walk of a very short pier. And if you can't prove this in fact, I'm going to sue you for everything you have. And the word I like to use is sestequation. And it's there in the FCA, and it's there in the Senior Courts Act, 1981. Which means
can you say that word again, Robin? Say it to me.
Can.
Say it again.
Sestequation.
How do you spell
Sestequation, right?
How do you spell it? Yeah.
And it is basically when the judge gets it so far wrong and he's not got his bond, he's not got his assurances, and he's not got his oaths, which we all know from the 2003 Freedom of Information request, courts no longer keep bonds, sureties and oaths. Because they don't need to. They're not judges of England.
That's why when they've been... Isn't that why, Robin, when they've been confronted on some of these live video footages that people have said they've basically abandoned the court?
Yes.
Is that what... Yes.
Yeah, it's basically they know they have no jurisdiction. Now, this is what I want to get into tonight, just for a bit of fun. And I am going to make it as easy as possible to get everybody on board with jurisdiction, because this is the main problem, I think, that people don't understand what jurisdiction means and what the system has done, or the state has done to the system. Now, we had a very simple system before 1972, which was natural common law, which is common law, right? under the constitutional monarchy, under the imperial crown authority. Now, everybody says, well, what's the imperial crown? The imperial crown has been going since 1688. It is our authority to both Parliament and the King and the judiciary. That is why you have 3 separations of power, and they can never touch, cross, or anything, right? Because they all stand in their own jurisdiction, right? And as to common law states, no 2 jurisdictions can stand in one state. So now that means that they cannot use what they're using at the minute, which is universal jurisdiction. They're running from about 20 made-up jurisdictions. It's as simple as that. Then you've got the fact that there have now, the circles of independence have now come together and are mismatched. Can't do that. That is a breach. Now, Parliament has stated it has the power. No, it doesn't. So we're going to be putting a document into Parliament in the next 2 weeks that it now has to prove that it has the authority to enter the inalienable documents, change, remove, and alter the constitutional documents, including the Magna Charta, Bill of Rights, and any Magna Charta. As 2015, Richie Sunak stood up and said what to the nation?
I don't know. 2016, what did he say?
2015.
Oh, he said, I'm a fraud.
Celebration of the cornerstone of English law.
What, Magna Charta?
The Magna Charta.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't exist according to the judges. It's invalid.
Oh. According to them.
According to them. Because it's no longer in their jurisdiction of the courts. Now, I know I'm going to go back to the old laws, which a lot of people go, oh, no, you can't use them. Well, unfortunately, we can, and they're still on the statute book, so they're still enforceable. So under the Monopolies Act 1623, no bar guild operative can operate outside of the inner city of London without a license. A contract and written consent of all.
And do they have those things?
Nope.
I thought they might not.
They have one of them, because what's all courts now? And it's there in the Local Governments Act 1972. All common law courts are abolished and administrative courts were put in their place under license, under limited license of Parliament.
In 1972?
In 1972.
When Ted Heath was on the throne?
Yeah, when he was the traitorous scumbag.
I think that's a fair assessment. I'd go along with that. Yes, I think so. Yes.
Where he lied to the nation and basically lied to everybody. And they did it in 1974. They went round all the TVs and crews and all the towns and cities and everywhere. No. Your sovereignty will not be messed with. Your sovereignty is yours, blah, blah, blah. And then surrendered it to Europe after the 1975 referendum, committing another treasonous act.
Well, he'd got into a bad habit by then, hadn't he?
Well, they got away with it. So,
Yep.
And people didn't know. And again, this is what comes down to, and this is what we've got to understand with jurisdictions and everything else. The jurisdiction means what the court is allowed to do in that jurisdiction and who it can deal with. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge, under law, has to prove that immediately. It's not a request, it's a demand by law. Because jurisdiction cannot be presumed, it must be proven. Maxim of law. They don't like it. There's many more, but I won't go into that. And if they can't produce their bond, There are sureties. So you can make a claim if you are damaged. They're not a judge, not of England. So where they're a judge of? They come under the Commonwealth's Act. They're all foreign judges. They're all bar guild judges. So when you walk into court, it's all biased before you even walk into court. The judge is bar guild. The barrister prosecuting you is bar guild. And the solicitor that's representing you or the barrister that's representing you is bar guild.
Right.
So the deal is done before you go into court. And they have a strict policy that they are to bleed you dry of everything. They are, if you look up the word lawyer or solicitor, it says they are shysters, liars, professional liars.
Yes. Isn't that also the same definition for attorney?
Yeah, prostitute.
It's to turn something, to a turn. I don't know quite what the definition is, but I know that it means something like that. Yeah. So it's right in front of us, you see. Yeah, it is. Somebody mentioned last night, actually, Robin, on the show. I can't remember what it was. In fact, I think Kizzy's trying to get hold of them. I caught a glimpse of this. You may have seen it. There's two ladies have just been interviewed recently.
Yes, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They came from well-to-do backgrounds and come across brilliantly, and they're talking about actually being completely stitched up by everybody, including the courts,
barristers, judges, no independence, no judiciary authority, complete lack of integrity, and all it is we're going. You've got what you want. You've now turned against the state, so we're going to take it all back. That's it in a nutshell.
Right.
One of the ladies is absolutely amazing, and what they've done is they've conned her and her husband.
Yes.
Told them a pack of lies.
Yeah.
Signed all these documents and stuff. It's all been nonsense because they've taken them to the wrong jurisdiction.
What the ladies did, or the court?
No,
did?
the courts did, and they
Right.
put them in the jurisdiction that they knew they could fleece as much money off them as they could. The state is, as Rupert Law stated, is your enemy. And there's a phrase I've just used on my evening chat with the Realm guys. And it's this. The people have now waking up from the blanket of shame and the prison of the state. And they can't see the freedom because the state has wrapped them up and said, no. We'll do all this for you. We'll do that for you. We'll look after you. We'll make sure you're all right. While fleecing your trusts, fleecing your profits, taxing you out of high heaven, the corporations that are under license, or every British company now is under license. Anything that's registered in England is under license to the foreign state and foreign parliament to pay taxes.
Yes.
The energy suppliers don't supply your energy. They supply you a finance agreement. That's deception by omission of what it actually is. We've got the council that now stands in two states. It's now trying to play public and commercial for taxation. Can't do that. It's against the law. But as Parliament and the three circles of law, jurisdictions, have now all intermingled, who's the head of state? The liege lord, Charlie boy.
Right.
So the office of king is now vacant.
I mean, is he in breach of something by not rebutting the idea that he's a king? I mean, if he was frank and forthright, he'd say, I'm not your king, I'm a liege lord, as he stated it in writing.
Yes.
I know you sent me that thing.
It's that's an exact certified copy of what was written in the London Gazette on his coronation. And now he's breached the defender of the faith coronation. He's no longer the coronation of the Christian lands. Who told him he could do that? It's there in the Constitution. He can't do it. Doesn't have the authority. He only holds the office of king by people's consent, by our consent. He's not the king. Never was. He's a foreigner. He's Belgian, Dutch, and German. He was sent here by the first Kaiser, who was the head of every royal. That's who sent him.
Mm-hmm.
And what does it say in our constitution? There can be no foreign prince or praetor upon our throne. None.
So does that apply to his mother and the whole line of them?
Well,
really
they're
going
all
back
the same.
they've never ever been the monarch.
Nope,
they've
the last
just
king
carried
we
the
had-
label. The colour of monarchy is what they've had, but they've not been it. Yeah.
Nope.
Gotcha.
The last king we had was William, the last true king of England. And he won the kingship by defeating, there wasn't an arrow thrown, and I've had this conversation before, the guy that ran away. And he married that king's daughter, Mary, who was 15 at the time.
You're talking William of Orange, yeah?
I am.
But wasn't he Dutch?
Doesn't matter. He won the throne by force.
Oh, I see. So right, okay.
You can only become a king either by succession under the Successions Act 1702 or by conquering. That's it. The monarchy was put into place by the Merchants' Parliament of England, of the inner city. So that
I think so.
could keep,
Yeah, very much so.
so that they could keep the merchants in wealth. And the one thing that people have got to realise, in 1688, 1701, 1702, if you'd have shown somebody a computer, the internet, they would have burnt you, drawn you, quartered you, drowned you. You'd have been a witch doctor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could read. Nobody could write. It was the only affluent people, the lords, ladies, that could read and write. So they made the laws. They made the rules till the revolution. The barons took down the kings, and the kings were now in fear because they knew to hold power as king, they had to keep the barons, and they had to be fair. That's gone. The barons issued in 2001, it's still there, the Magna Carta. It's in the document that I sent you. The date, the time, the certified copy of that Magna Carta, and the Queen's response. She had 28 days to respond. She failed to respond because she knew she wasn't the Queen. She knew when they issued it, it was all done. She'd surrendered everything to Europe in 72, including our sovereignty in 75. And for proof of that, look at the Precedents Act 2018, where Parliament claimed your sovereignty back from Europe and made a fake crown out of it. We never surrendered it. They told us we'd never surrendered it, because if we had, Parliament would be classed as treason. The Queen would be classed as treason. Simple as that. We cannot surrender authority to a foreign state. Ever. And what did they do in 73? Surrendered to a foreign state and then said, no, it's only for business. Don't affect your sovereignty. So why did you abolish all our courts of common law and replace them with administrative courts? Look up 1986. Lord Denning said in the European Commission's courts, no administrative court can have any jurisdiction in England. None. Absolutely none.
So they've been able to basically acquire and hold sway over the public mind through A, not talking about this, and B, nobody really inquiring about it, because everybody blithely accepted that because this came from authoritative figures, it must be true. That kind of assumptive.
No, I don't think it was the fact there is, you see, under parliamentary or the old parliamentary oath, you have to work for the benefit of the people. That's gone. They removed it. And they've just literally removed things that they can't remove, but they have for the betterment of themselves. The state now runs something like 44% of the employment of the United Kingdom Corporation. And why do you think they call it the United Kingdom? Because that's the corporation. When was the last time you heard any politician say England? Because England's the landmass.
This is a key point. I mean, I'm just looking at this document, actually. It's talking about Great Britain. What is Great Britain, Robin? What is it?
Great Britain.
Is that another label?
It is, yeah. But it's also, they've turned that into a corporation. So Great Britain is also the landmass of what was called then England and Wales.
Not including Scotland, Northern Ireland or Ireland.
No, because we didn't become great. We got Scotland, right, to pay the debts to the Vatican, Scottish debts, right, because they'd got not a pot to piddling. And then when we took on Ireland in 1801, we became the United Kingdoms, the four kingdoms: England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. But they then incorporated the United Kingdom, and it's on the realm. It's all their DUNS numbers are there. The Great Britain Corporation, the Transatlantic United Kingdom Corporation, they're all there. They're all registered to the foreign state of America.
So the stench of the merchants rises large in all of this, it seems to me.
Yep.
You can feel it.
That we've got sort of, people, is it the Fabians? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? This goes back to 1706.
Further than that, mate.
Well, we know that, but stop trying to confuse everybody. You just because I've told you secrets.
In terms of the modern idiom, in terms of the last 500 years, this is a big kickoff point. 1706.
Yes, this is where that they up to gear, right? And knew because Queen Anne, was blind. She'd got something wrong with her eyes. She'd had 17 miscarriages. It was all documented. And she couldn't read.
When's Queen Anne? This is interesting about the miscarriages.
Queen Mary. Okay. She was getting read. And they literally got her to sign documents for the incorporation in 1707. This is when they fetched in the Cester v. Trust jurisdiction, the subordinate 1707, and the presumption that you're dead or lost at sea or over sea. So they didn't know. And this is why, again, time travel, and I'm just throwing it out there. If you believe in it, that's up to you. But these documents sort of suggest that somebody knew what they were talking about, because all of our live birth notifications are now recorded where? They're no longer in England. They've moved them to either Canada, America.
Have they now?
So you are now over the waters. You try and get your live birth notification form. They will kick up a right stink.
Well, I think that's obviously an action that we all need to be taught how to undertake and get to it, don't we?
Yeah. Well, they're now telling you, they only keep them for 20 years. No, you can't keep them for 20 years. They're a document. They're a legal document. They have to be kept for your lifetime. It's as simple as that. Right? That is your true birth document, not your re-registration of the live birth notification form into the birth certificate, which is the administrative document to create for administrative ease by the state. to entrap you into the state obligated servant. It's as simple as that. People call it the straw man. It's not a straw man. You are the core commercial person. This is their language, not mine. And it's there to be found. You are the commercial person, commercial body, commercial estate. Excuse me?
I don't smell the thinking of Englishmen in this.
Nope.
So much.
This is all greed and merchant.
Yeah.
And the merchants were in the day were all the Vatican, the inner city of London. Vatican. Where are all these companies and the Bank of England and all this lot stated in? The Vatican. The Bank of England is a federal office. It's Europe.
Well, you've got those names of the streets. You've got Lombardy Street, right? I mean, my sort of thinking about it was that this originates much of it, that sort of architectural layout, not just of the city after the fire, which spontaneously happened because somebody burnt some bread. Yeah, right.
The Dutch came in and burnt it all down.
Well, whatever. I don't know. All I know is that the rebuilding of London, the plans were all ready to go. And that's not easy, is it? Oh, we've burnt it all down. Don't worry. Oh, look what we just happened to have in our back pockets, like Blue Peter. Here's one that we made earlier. Really, all that kind of stuff. But my understanding is that the root of this, a lot of it is to do with Venice and the Doge system, because basically the Houses of Parliament is a kind of bastard version of the Doge system from Venice.
It is. It's basically the banking system.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Exactly what it is. Yep,
it's
absolutely.
the banking system. And basically, this is what makes me laugh now with people, because they put us now all in the commercial system, and they are now. And I'm going to go into, because I liked the DWP and the child maintenance fraud that they're carrying on with at the minute. So if you're paying your kids every week, let's say 100 quid, right? So you've 2 kids, you're paying them 50 quid a piece. The child's maintenance section, no, you can't do that. You've got to pay it through us. No, I don't. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. What do you mean I have to pay it through you? Why? If I'm not paying my kids, chase me. Till I'm not paying my kids, take a long walk of a short pier. Oh, well, no. Because we're going to charge them 25% for you using our services. What? So we're now not only paying our taxes to keep all these offices open, supposedly, to pay all these deadheads, to pay for hospitals and everything else, but we are now having our money taken off us for using the state services by 25%. So now your kids get 75 quid a month, a week, whatever it may be, and the states take 25%. And then we wonder why we've got so much child poverty and why dads don't pay. I mean, a lot of the dads do. I know that, things have changed massively, but why they won't pay. We've had I spoke to a guy the other day. They took £20,000 out of his bank.
That's nice of him. Yeah.
Yep. In one hit. It took him 2 years to get his money back. 2 years.
And did he get recompensed for the financial distress that they'd caused him?
We haven't got that far yet. But
no. Like
I said, this is how they are. They don't care. They're ignorant of the law. They're ignorant of what they're doing. And people, these scumbags that work in these places, and I'm sorry, I don't care whether you work there or not. You're a scumbag. If you don't wake up, then, what will wake you up? Because these aren't down and out dads. These are dads trying to make the best of a very poorly situation. They split up from their family. For whatever reason, whoever's at fault makes no difference to me. They're paying their way. And then these criminals come in and go, oh, well, no. Can't do it that way. You have to do it this way. And by the way, you owe us 20 grand. Wallet
it's It's as if, Robin, wherever there's a transaction taking place that they can see,
Yep, they've got to have a cut
their
of
view
it.
is that they're entitled to charge you a toll for moving the money around,
Yep.
which
Not-
is no
it's not a
different.
small toll.
It's
not
no
like
different. I know, but it's no different, is it, to what they were doing in Venice when they used to send boats out, men of war, to any boat that went by. They'd charge it a toll, a tax for just going past Venice.
Yep.
It's the same principle. It's always like, we are entitled to something because I can see you.
Yep.
Really?
And it's
I can see that
disgraceful,
you're
man.
giving money to that man. Where's my cut?
Yep. And this is what the state is doing. When you go to prison, you are SPV'd. You are basically sold on the stock market. What? Who created this nonsense? They access your trust and take millions out. I mean, the guy in America did his dad's 15 years or something, 14 and a half, 15 years or something ridiculous. 14.25 billion they made from locking his dad up for 15 years. All our prisons are no longer crown prisons, the prisons of the people to protect us. They're state prisons, statutory, incorporated, running by license to make a profit for the state. Look at the state of our roads. Look at the state of what's happening around our cities. The shops are closing. Things are being boarded up left, right, and centre.
Indeed.
Where's all our money going?
Currency, as Gary would rightly say.
Oh,
but you're right. I know what you mean.
Whether we call it currency, money, whatever.
Where's all our purchasing power going?
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Where's it gone?
Mm-hmm.
Where's our councils acting for the benefit of our residents? Where's the library buses gone? Where's our libraries gone? Where's
But
the
we
kids
can't
clubs,
we
youth
can't really
clubs?
expect these people that work in those agencies to have that level of consciousness, because this is the thing that always used to get me. I had a cousin, by the way, who used to work for the Inland Revenue, and it used to bemuse me. And it's got to be done and all that. And I just instinctively, this is when I'm about 8 or 9 years of age. She was about 15 years older than me. I just thought, that's just not on. Why are you getting employment from an agency that nobody understands and that just keeps taxing? I mean, I've never I do understand tax, but when I was younger, the whole idea that you had to sort of assign over part of your wage packet to the government. I remember when I got my first sort of brown envelope when I was about 18, I just threw it in the bin and my mum took it out because it was all covered in chip fat by then. She said, "What are you doing that for?" I said, "I don't want to know about that." I'm not interested. I mean, look, it's not a particularly responsible response. I get that. But, that instinct that everybody has, those letters carry with them like a psychological weight when they arrive through people's doors. And they nearly always arrive on a Friday, so you get to stew over the weekend. They know what they're doing with all of these little things. It's
it's all to mount the pressure for you to yield.
Yes,
and
it
not
is.
Think,
Absolutely.
And not think.
Keep you in anxiety and fear, and then you can't
is.
think clearly. Yep.
Yep. There's I've forgotten how many pages this document is now, but this goes back to the 1215 Magna Charta. Mm-hmm. It comes up to Lord Denning.
I've got it here. I've got it up. I've got it. It's 57 pages actually, Robin. So it's not
pages.
Yeah, it's
so
not
here
bad.
You go. Lord Denning's Master of the Rolls from 1962 to 1982 described the Magna Charta as the greatest constitutional document of all times and the foundation of the freedom of the individual against the arbitrary authority of the despot.
Despot. Just to let you know, the despots. Yeah.
Right. The
Absolutely.
House of Lords recorded office confirming in writing recently that the Magna Carta signed by King John in June 1215 stands to this day. Home Secretary Jack Straw said as much on 1st of October 2000, when the Human Rights Act came into force, Halsbury's Laws of England says the Magna Charta is binding upon the Crown today as it was the day it was sealed at Runnymede. That was in 2000.
Yeah. Jack Straw's also that muppet that went on to say that we don't need common law courts. Trial by jury he was having a go at, wasn't he, I think?
Yep.
He was the first in all that. You know where it says the Crown there in that sentence?
Yep.
What does that mean?
That means the Imperial Crown. The Crown
And what's
Authority.
Right.
That's our authority. That's the people's authority. This is what people have forgotten, and this is what they brainwashed you with.
Yeah.
Right? The Imperial Crown is the highest crown in England. Right? It is our agreement with Parliament, with the judiciary, and with the King. Right? He stands as only our chief trustee in the office of King. He will do what we order him to do as our chief trustee only. If we say dissolve Parliament, he dissolves Parliament because it's by the will of the people. What they done.
Of course, the mechanisms of communicating.
No. It's his Parliament now, not ours. That's what they've done. The Crown now refers to the national crown. And that's why, if you notice, there's two crowns. There's one with red, one with blue. The Commerce Crown, which he's now using, it's the old Vatican Crown of Commerce. You've got to notice these slight different things. The blue crown, with the blue royal blue lining, is the Imperial Crown Authority of England. That is the people's crown. That belongs to me, you, and every man, woman, and child. That's our authority that we have adorned, that he runs for our benefit, that there can be no arbitrary authority, there can be no governance that we don't agree to. And this is where it comes in, the Bill of Rights and Lord Coke's ruling in the 1610 Bonham case. Read it for yourselves. It says there that Parliament does not have the authority, and when needed, the judiciary will remind the Parliament that it's the people that makes the laws. They have to agree to them, basically. And it states it in the Constitution. The law can only be enacted if the people agree to it, not the King. It doesn't get a royal assent. There is no such thing as royal assent. It's a new, modern nonsense.
A new doobry that they've thrown in.
Yep.
Another
and it's
distraction.
only by royal assent when we agree to it, basically, and it's our royal assent, not theirs. Once we say, yeah, okay, well, we'll go with this, that's fine. And this is what I want to tell people. The jury can go in and go, right, this case is built on a pack of lies. This act and any act attached to this is void, effective immediately. That's why they're trying to do away with the juries. Because if the people think that that act is disproportionate, arbitrary, it can be voided by a trial by our peers, by the jury.
These things that we would say to them, these instructions that we are under this arrangement, the Crown are entitled to say and could say, how are they said? I don't mean in terms of the words. I mean, is there in place right now a communications process that you enter into, and who's in charge of that process? Sorry.
Silence. They literally, I know what you're trying to go with, but what do? When you've got these corrupt officials by the Short and Curlies, what do? They go radio silent. They go radio silent. They don't answer your questions. They don't answer anything. Right? So how can you get anything further when they fail to respond?
Is there a statute of limitations on how long they can go without?
Under common law, it's fraud, and that's what they're committing. Common law fraud. Yeah. Tort of negligence. Money claim now. Right? Tort of malfeasance. Money claim. By failing to answer. Because they have a duty and an obligation by fiduciary responsibilities to answer.
Are they given a time period in which to respond?
If you put it on a DSAR,
right.
28 days.
What's a DSAR? It's an acronym for something. What's that?
It is, yeah. Go on, go on, You've been rather quiet, Toshi, so go on.
Yeah. So, say that again. What was what?
What's a SAR and a DSAR?
DSAR.
Data Subject Access Request.
That's it. You took the words right out of my mouth, mate.
I knew he'd do that. Okay, what's that? Stop. Break that down. Data subject access request.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a modern phrase. They didn't use the word data back in the 1700s or whenever, did they?
No. And basically, this is where they're storing all our data. So the data that they have, they now have to produce. And when we question them, and we want not only the data, but we want their data on policies, what they're running from, what they're claiming, and the statutory responsibilities that they have, and what they claim that we have to them under what obligation of power, and what contract are you using, what language are you using. They won't answer you, because if they do, the jig is up. The jig is totally up, and it's falling down now. We can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally see it. Parliament is absolutely in turmoil. Labour don't know what to do. They've fetched Andy Burnham in, and it's all going to
phew. We're all going to be saved, Robin, because Andy Burnham, the knob of the North.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm glad you said that, because I'd have said a few other choice words as well.
Would you? You get stuck in. Well, you've got to wait till 9 o'clock before you can. No, we're very polite round here. Anyway, apart from which, most of the listeners can read between the lines. They've got their own level of invective.
But the subject access request is give me all the information. And the big thing in law that they do not like, the burden of proof is now on you.
Prove that you have jurisdiction. Prove that these things that you're saying have got standing in law. Prove that I agreed to it. Prove that I have a contract with you. Prove.
Or I have given you written consent that I agree to this.
Yes.
And they can't. And once you get them on a few terminal, then you've got GDPR. How did you get my information? You've now bought my information. Who from? What did you pay for it? Why? What of your lawful grounds? Note I said lawful, not statutory, because it says lawful grounds, GDPR, which they can't stand, which they can't prove. This is why we've got them on GDPR. Then you've got data protection. 2018, section 170.
Yeah, I think
just for starters.
Didn't we talk earlier in the week? I think we did. There's 3 weeks today when this show ends. There's a chap starting here on Food for Thought Radio, 9 till 11 on Friday nights, Charles Fernandez. He was talking to me about GDPR, just brief. I didn't take it all in. It was a 2.5 hour conversation, so it was just tons of stuff, right? But one of the things he said was that practically every single individual in this nation is owed a chunk of money because they're in breach of GDPR.
Correct.
Every time you get, in other words, if you get a letter through because of a claim that you've been driving your car too quickly down the high street or wherever, then somebody has coughed up that information, which breaks the general
GDPR.
data protection. Yeah.
And you can now charge, if you look up 82, 83, 84, 83 is the good one, you can now demand 4% of their annual turnover.
How much?
4%.
Bloody hell, they're not going to have out left.
So, like I said, if you know how to twist the system back at them, and this is what they're not liking at the minute, because there's a lot of good guys that are now, we're not sort of coming together, but we're informing each other through these mediums.
You're all nibbling different parts of the same root.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. Everybody's coming in. It's like a swarm. It's just happening and building up. Yeah, I get that feeling.
And we're now coming to a stage where, prove it. We've literally said to High Court judges, prove you've got jurisdiction subject matter. That means they've got to have the bond. So they've got to disclose the bond, because we're going to claim off that. And they haven't got one because they're not a judge in England.
What form does this bond take? Is it a sheet of paper?
No, it's an insurance. It's basically insurance.
Okay.
It covers the judge for if he gets something wrong, you can sue. You literally make a claim of his insurance. He gets 5, he's banned from ever sitting on the bench again. Or it's 3 or 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's either 3 or 5.
Okay.
But
right,
because they're now all licensed by a guild operatives, under a secret oath, and have a look at this 1910 Secret Oath Act. You couldn't write this crap up.
They could, though.
but honestly, they can. Secret Oaths Act 1910.
Okay.
What on earth is going off? And this is what they've done very successfully. So who also was sworn to the inner city of London? And before they take public office, what do they have to do? Publicly, and it states it as fact, public denounce their secret oath. When did Starmer remove his public oath? And
he's never revealed it, has he? I can't remember anybody that's ever.
So who's
ever
he been working for as Prime Minister for 2 years? And as a minister, and as a leader of the Labour Party, a parliamentary opposition, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
These are like the early days of what's currently referred to as lawfare.
Yep.
The mismanagement, the intentional reconditioning of so-called law under, what's it called? Is it the colour of law? But it isn't the actual law at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Under the colour of law. Every court is acting under the colour of law. Every judge is acting under the colour of law. There's no separation of powers. They are now stating that Parliament did have the power. No, it didn't. It's not had the power ever. It is the people that accept the laws, not Parliament. But now what they've done is they've got the police officers, the Gestapo agents, the thugs, and we all know what they've been doing in these grape gangs. You know, aiding and abetting and everything else. There's police officers going left, right, and centre of this, that, and the other, being accused and everything else. Right? And being found guilty.
Yes.
Right?
It's become a haven for paedophiles and paedophile networks, hasn't it?
Yeah. And it is absolutely... Allegedly. Right?
A few.
Yeah.
Just covering my
allegedly in. You know
got to get that in. You know, all of this is allegedly, by the way, anybody that's tuning in. Phew.
But you look at the convictions of the councils, the council homes, the police officers that have been convicted of it, the MPs that have been convicted of it, the councillors that have been convicted of it, the aides that have been convicted of it.
As you were saying that,
hundreds.
As you were saying that as well, it reminded me of that part from that speech by John F. Kennedy, you know, the 20-minute speech where he says they operate by night, their plans are never published, right? Their mistakes are never known. If you're talking about these things from first-hand knowledge, you've seen this stuff, right? So my first thought was, I haven't, and I need an easy way, as does everybody else, at some point, to be able to see these things, almost like a newspaper, as it were, that specialises in some kind of an account. Birth, deaths, and government abuse column in the back of the newspapers. Do you know what I did
to get a list that's about 190-odd things? I went onto the internet and said, list all the public officials that have been convicted of.
Right.
And it literally was boom, 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 all down the page. I was absolutely amazed. Birmingham, Manchester, Rotherham, Stockport. There's about 4 or 5 others that were absolutely, and it just blew my mind. On what the hell? These are supposed to be trusted public officers, and they're not public anymore.
No.
They now work directly for the head of state. They are sworn to the liege lord. So they're a corporate, micro-corporate division. That's what they are, working for a regional division. And it says so in the policing, College of Policing. It's ridiculous what they've done and how they've done it. So they're now working with.
Don't you think, Robin, though, that if we just wait a little bit longer, the BBC will make a documentary about this? My tongue is firmly planted in my butt cheeks when I say that.
Yeah,
but seriously, one of the points I think it's a thing I mention a few times. You know, like you do, you keep banging on about stuff. Is that the power of the media is not what they cover; it's what they omit. Like this this is omitted. No one ever knows that this block of knowledge exists because it's not pummeled into the brain. But really, there should be don't you think, with all these people, once a week, there should be a BBC summary of all the corrupt officials that have been prosecuted this week successfully. Bang, 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 bang. That would be useful, wouldn't it?
It'd be very useful. Very useful.
I'm not holding my breath. They're not going to do that,
No, there's not a prayer, mate. We all know that the BBC now is nothing more than a arm of Parliament, and it's to keep everybody asleep.
The Bolshevik Brainwashing Corporation, as I like to refer to them. But
Well, to be fair, I think that's the best I've heard it, to be fair. The BBC, the British Broadcasting Company that was owned by all of us, that all of a sudden is now in private hands. When did you get your dividends? Because I'm still looking for mine.
I still ain't got my share certificate. I keep thinking about this. If you've been paying into it for years, and when they make a profit, why don't I get a divvy?
Well, exactly, because all the dividends go to the state for the pension, for their second homes, their duck ponds to be relined, and their duck homes to be remended, and what was the other one that the guy did? Oh, champagne dinners.
Oh, we're missing a trick here, I won't mind a champagne dinner every now and again, but that's too high a price to pay, basically losing your entire soul and becoming an arsehole in the process.
You've got one of the, I still laugh about this. I shouldn't do, and I really ought to be careful when I fetch it up, but one of the female MPs at the time was massively embarrassed because she'd claimed for her husband watching those... those
porn
films,
channels.
Those films,
adult movies. They're called, aren't they?
Of scanty-gad ladies dancing about.
Yeah. It's only a bit of harmless fun. Oh, he couldn't help it,
Yeah, but while he was away, to stop him cheating, he had to watch these movies. What? I've never heard as much tripe in my life. And a 50p plug. We've now got them claiming for a 50 pence plug. What do they actually pay for? They're getting the gas bills paid, their electric bills paid, every bloody bill paid for it, and on their second homes. Yep. And we're wondering why expenses for MPs is in the hundreds of thousands.
We're at 9 o'clock, Robin. Do you fancy a tune?
Oh, definitely.
I don't know what I've just looked here and I found a thing. Do you remember a band called, I shouldn't play this, but I'm going to do it because I'm just a bad person on Friday night. It's Friday night out, so what? It's the jukebox here. Do you remember a band called Los Lobos?
I do.
Well, this is the very first thing that they ever did back in about 1981 or 82, and I still think it's a cracker. So, and Don't Worry Baby, and that goes to all of us. Don't worry. We're on the way. So, we'll be back after this. It's about 3 minutes long. Here we go.
Standing there by the window, staring out at the night. You got so many troubles on your nervous mind. But don't worry, baby, it's gonna work out fine. You heard the sound of footsteps stealing across the floor. He picked up the receiver, he didn't know what for. Then you saw a shadow slipping through the door. staring out at the night. You see your lover leaning against the old street light. But don't worry, baby, it's gonna be alright. He was tossing and turning, and he couldn't sleep. He said you shouldn't bother, it was just a dream. So where was he going? Heading down the street. Well, don't worry, baby, what the world may bring. Well, don't worry, baby, it won't change a thing. Life is a fight, and then you die. Hey,
The problem is that we have an elite in this country that believe in open borders, they believe in net zero, they believe in woke ideology like transgender ideology. They don't care what people think. We need to build a movement that is actually going to change not just the political layer in this country, but the entire bureaucratic class.
Can I ask
the
you-
BBC, the mainstream media. It all needs to change because these people have been proved wrong. We've had 40 years. That's how long the stagnation has been going on, and we need to break out of it.
Can I ask you about, particularly back in your time in government, you referenced to the blob, the Home Office, getting in the way, stopping you do what you wanted. Is that a conspiracy theory? You were there. How seriously opposed are the public sector, the Home Office, to doing things like controlling borders, to doing things like controlling
They're very
what the
opposed.
country
We
should be
know.
like?
You know, we know that they're under the influence of Islamist networks. We've seen that recently. We know that the governor of the Bank of England has advocated against Brexit. He's advocated for net zero. He's advocated for DEI. We know that those are the senior people in the bureaucracy are progressive ideologues. That is a given. Look at what we're hearing from senior police chiefs. Look at what we're hearing from judges in courts. We have seen a system takeover by an ideology, and the right is not going to win if we just replace the politicians. We've actually got to replace the people that are really running things. We need people in Parliament who are prepared to sack bureaucrats and replace them with people aligned to our agenda, because otherwise nothing will change. Even if we get a new prime minister in 2029 with different ideas, if the same senior people are still there at the Home Office, at the Bank of England, heading up the police forces, nothing will change.
Just thought I'd throw that in there for a bit of effect. And Alice Gorgeous is teasing me. She says, Paul and Liz up a tree. It's not because I keep, look, I just go, it's like a broken clock when someone spits it out. But of course, Gary would know an awful lot more about that lady than I would. She's his best mate now. So everything's ticking over great, isn't it? That's what's going on.
Hopefully, one day. Yeah, no, we just got to climb that greasy pole. We'll get there eventually.
Yep, absolutely. There we go. Anyway, that was Los Lobos and Don't Worry Baby and Liz Truss and Do Worry Everybody, because the country's shot to pieces. So There you go. It's a bit of counterpoint to the whole thing, but I just thought I'd throw that in, to add a bit of colour to the show.
To the proceedings, which, to be fair, it just drops right for this quote I want to give you here. Great. So, Halsbridge Law, we've done that one. So, what I want to do here is now, on the subject of Magna Charta, hang on a minute, sorry, let me go back a little bit. So you've got this now where it says, a law-abiding member of this country, we have lawful responsibilities and duties to stand under the conditions set out in constitutional law as defined by the Magna Charta and other documents when the security clause, Article 61, has been invoked as it is today. The good people of this land must unite with peaceful seek a remedy to the breach. The British government by Parliament, which consents of the British House of Commons, which creates statutes and acts, the House of Lords which scrutinise them, and the monarchy, who has royal assent to approve these legislations if it is in the best interests of the people. So none of these legislations have been in the best interests of the people. So therefore, by order of that, he can't give it royal assent at all. Sovereign, as an exercise of the royal prerogative, acts of parliaments are also described as statutes. They can be repealed by the institute which made them, by the common law rules that no parliament may bind its successor. That means they can repeal each other's statutes, but they don't, because they're all working in it together. On the subject of the Magna Carta 1215, Winston Churchill also writes, the fact embodies in it and the circumstances given rise to where buried or misunderstood the underlying idea of the sovereignty of law long exists in federal customs. This is Winston Churchill changing us from a constitutional monarchy to a federal corporate system like in America.
Oh, you mean to say he did more than one bad thing in his life?
Oh, well, he did a few, to be fair. Look at the 1948 Ireland Agreement, which I've already said, and then the 1953 London Agreement.
He was one of the greatest curses ever to befall us, one of the greatest traitors,
the Churchill
in my
family
view.
are all lords of the Roman Empire. Princes of the Roman Empire.
I hope they're happy with their titles.
So do we.
They love their titles. I hope they've got plenty of medals and plumes coming out of their hats.
Few,
oh,
right?
That's lovely. That's great,
long exists the federal state and comes in. And when subsequent ages, the swollen state with its own authority has attempted to override roughshod over the rights, liberties of the subject, it is to be doctrined. That appeal has again and again been made and has never as yet been successful. Churchill, A History of Speaking in the Parliament. Basically, all of these have taken away something that they can't take away, and it's now swollen the authority of Parliament that they know they can't do. Parliament stands in treason and has done since 1948, straight after the Second World War. And again, they did it while the country was on its knees. People were too busy trying to eat, live. All the soldiers coming home.
There's always a great distraction taking place when they slip these subterfuges under everybody's nose.
Yep.
Always.
And then we've got in 1998, which I just want to go, the Queen stated the Bill of Rights and the Scottish Claim of Rights, 1689, still part of the statute law, are the sure foundation on which the whole effectiveness of Parliament democracy rests. So they no longer are under the Bill of Rights. They're no longer under the Constitution, despite what they claim.
So they're bogus, basically.
They're bogus. They're working.
They're a false entity. They're laying claim to a status that they don't actually have.
Correct. And this is what they've done, as Winston Churchill stated in, I think it was 56, that they wanted to raise the authority of Parliament. And by the theft of the imperial crown, by the theft of and interference with the Bill of Rights, the inalienable documents, and the altar, which they've stated as fact, 1888, 1948, 1950, just for starters, that they went into the inalienable documents, Bill of Rights, they changed words, meanings, paragraphs, and understandings, so that they could then claim through the Interpretations Act what these things actually meant, as long as it meant what they said it meant.
Right.
And here we've got, and this is the March 24th, 2001, Peers petition Queen on Europe. And here is a cutout on this document. There's a cutout, and it's a certified copy of this paper article, where they issued the and invoked the ancient right under the Magna Charta yesterday to petition the Queen to block closer integration with Europe. The Duke of Rutland,
Article 61, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Right, and it goes on and on and on, and it's all there, and it's actually it's a verified copy. It's been signatured, historical newspaper. It's all been done. It's all. I'm going to send this document to Satoshi, and I'm going to ask him to put it on the Bitcoin tree, so it's there for everybody, and it'll be there forever. This document is part 1 of 56 pages of absolutely pure, unbreachable knowledge, law, and the history of the Constitution, and who has broken the Treason Act.
This is the document that you sent me.
Yes, it is. And it stands here. And this is one of the big ones. No free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights or possessions or outlawed or exiled, nor will we proceed with force against him, except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. To no one will we sell, to no one will we deny or delay right or justice.
Oh, I think they've broken all of that.
Right, and these are two different clauses. One was from the Bill of Rights, one was from the Magna Charta. Now, the second one was from the Magna Charta, still in force today. And the other one, still in force today, the imperial rule. So why have we got so many prisoners on remand? Because they're not being found guilty of any charge. Why are people having their cars stolen by their police force that can't take their cars? That have caused no damage, no loss, no harm.
I guess one part of it must be, Robin, to do with the ignorance of the mass of us as a whole.
Well, it's theft. It's straightforward theft by statute, by false representation of what a statute is.
Yeah.
And especially from a merchant's parliament.
But the layman wouldn't even understand that sentence that you just said.
I know.
That's so we know we're aware that all of us are being abused and we're being lied to, and you stripping it down and the others that are also stripping it down to the real nuts and bolts of the mechanism begin to reveal where the lie sits. And it's getting that information out, isn't it? That's the challenge. Of course, we're doing it here. You're doing it here.
Yeah. But it's not just me. It's everybody. I mean, the thing is, it's, people listen to this show, and I know I go on tangents, and we all do. We slide in and out, and we go through, and it's just to try and keep the entertainment going.
Yeah, it's
and
allowed.
Also come back then to explain certain facts that and show them how it's done. Now, this is part 1. As I've said, it's a 56-page document, and it's quite knowledgeable. Is this document? It gives everything broken down: who did what, when they've done it.
Yeah.
England is in trust for their successors. Edward was also King of France, and as such could have no say in how England was run. And that was in 1948. You know what I mean? Statute.
Yeah.
As
you've been reading it, I've been searching it when you've said words and come up to the passages that you're reading out from. And just even giving it a quick cursory glance here, it's very clearly written, which I'm very pleased about. Yeah, it is. And at 58 pages, by the way, everybody could read this. So when it gets published on Tree Chat, Gary or you or whatever, once you've got the link to it, we need to mail bomb the FFT radio group and all of the Telegram groups. This is where you can go and get a copy. I might even just upload it directly to the Telegram group, because we just need to get it spread all over the place. I mean, there's gazillions of documents that are valuable, but this one seems particularly pertinent. Obviously, it's highly relevant to what you're talking about, because it is what you're talking about. So that's really good. But yeah, getting it out. I'll get through this weekend. That'll be great. 58 pages. That's a breeze.
Yeah, well, like I said, but it's easy reason because it's knowledge and it's about the facts, and nobody can dispute this. I mean, we go in 1999, Tony Blair put through the House of Lords Act, which was to remove all but 92 hereditary peers. Certain politicians planned to replace the House of Lords with an elected assortment restricting the hereditary peers from playing their part in government were acts of treason.
Right.
So Tony Blair in 1999 was in an act of treason to remove the hereditary peers that couldn't be removed. But they managed it.
Now, they managed it, and I know they did.
Yep.
What's the components of that? That, it seems, first guess is that the body of
Payments.
the people in Parliament are ignoring this or are completely oblivious to it because they too are supremely thick. They're not responsible, are they? I mean, that's how people get bent to somebody else's will. It's through their own stupidity and lack of knowledge about a particular situation. I got really stitched up on that one. Not that I'm trying to let the politicians off, because it's their responsibility to look out for these things, but they're clearly not doing that. I mean, that won't come as a surprise to anybody. But I mean, that like breaking down the mechanism by which it goes through. Oh, this got through the House. What do you mean it got through the House? What's in the House? Obviously, not many brains.
Because what they do is they pad out these bills and acts and statutes and Christ knows whatever they put in with it with absolutely brain dumbing nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody doesn't read it. They haven't got the time. They know they haven't got the time. And then everybody misses the important stuff. But what I'd like you to do is go to page 16 on this document, if you still got it open. Paul.
I've got it open.
And go to the bottom one where it says 1559, Elizabeth I, Act of Supremacy.
I've got 1351. Let me keep on going down. 1392. 1559. I've got it here. Elizabeth I, Act of Supremacy. This act, that bit. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
You want me to read it out?
Yeah. Because I think, to be fair, I'm not over well tonight, and I'm doing my best, but...
we don't. Oh, yeah, you've been suffering a bit, haven't you? You couldn't tell, actually.
Yes,
it's because everybody's thrilled, by the way, that you've got a great net connection and it's crystal clear and it's just transformed the show. It really has. So you cough your guts up. I'll just read this out. It's just 6-7 lines. So 1559, Elizabeth I, Act of Supremacy. This act contains an oath of which this is part. Quote, no foreign prince, person, state, or potentate hath or ought to have any power, jurisdiction, superiority, supremacy, or authority ecclesiastical or spiritual in this realm. End quote. This act clearly shows that we are not to tolerate any attempt, this is the document speaking now, to allow any kind of foreign interference in our affairs. Edward Heath, he's back again, committed treason when he set up a conspiracy in violation of this act to submit our sovereignty to the EEC. By default, every succeeding government has also committed treason in continuing with EU membership. Yeah. Good.
It's there. This is what I've stated from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Everything from to be fair, it's 1960. Lord Edward Heath, as MP, wrote to Lord Kilmore. Lord Kilmore knew the fish was swimming.
Yes,
and published a public letter to Edward Heath and said, no, you can't do that. No.
We talked about that letter, didn't we?
Yep.
A couple of weeks back. Yep.
And basically, if you look at that and tie that in with this document.
Mm-hmm.
Parliament has committed 5 acts of treason against the people. 5, to my account.
And they're continuing to commit them, aren't they?
And now Parliament cannot stand as it's in the act of treason. It says we're out of Europe by aligning with Europe and trying to take us back in, and by surrendering the sovereignty of the people and claiming it as their sovereignty.
Yeah.
They can't do it. It's not theirs.
No.
Parliament, under the Bill of Rights, and I think it's Article 4, states that Parliament only has sovereignty over its own Parliament. That's it. Doesn't extend beyond that.
Yet they've managed to leverage that through creating massive confusion and misunderstanding over what.
No. What they've done is they've altered and subverted the constitutional documents. They've altered them. We can't alter them. Any alteration or subversion of the constitutional alienable documents is death. But they've done it.
I mean, it's a very good argument for the reintroduction of the death penalty, isn't it?
Mate, it's never gone. This is what makes me laugh. The statutory death penalty left. The statutory treason penalty left. The common law death penalty still fully in force. It's under the Felony Treason Act 1848 and it's under the Treason Act 1351.
Right.
And they're both in treason. By giving aid to a foreign state, surprise, surprise, as Scylla would say, it is the death penalty.
Well, why
it's
not?
as simple as that.
I know. I think it is that simple because they're not in fear of any repercussions for their criminality. It's escalated.
Oh, we got away with the death penalty. We must be civilized. We must be this while committing treason, multiple treasons, theft, defrauding the country, and lying to our faces. You creature from the Black Lagoon.
The root of this seems to all sit in and around that period called the English Civil War, so-called, which is basically another aspect of the War of the Merchants upon the structure of the nation. I mean, it goes back. I've often mentioned that I think it's like from Henry VIII forward is where the whole pear-shapedness starts to come into this space, and the idea of merry old England, sound and strong, begins to get depleted rapidly from that point forward. So,
I mean, look, if you go to page 17, excuse me, my voice is going. If you go to page 17, and we go right to the bottom, following the section of the Bill of Rights, it takes from statute law gov.uk. It states the following. If you can go from there, makes my throat.
I will. I'm glad to be your narrator for the evening, Robin. It's
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, it's great. So you just give me a shout and I'm happy. I always like reading things out anyway. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. And I do declare that no foreign prince, person, prelate, state or potentate hath or ought to have any jurisdiction, power, superiority, preeminence, or authority ecclesiastical or spiritual within this realm, so help me God. So that's a repeat of it. That's dated 1689, is that? Something like that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right?
William III, that is,
laws.
Declaration of Rights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you read the next paragraph on page 18.
In other words, the narrator goes, the British, let's say the English, but we'll put it says the British, right? The British may not be ruled in any way, shape or form by any foreign entity. So it can clearly be seen that every EU treaty imposed upon us by Parliament is unconstitutional. Here is the evidence that our present monarch has unfortunately for some reason broken her coronation oath. This was when Elizabeth was still alive.
Yep.
By giving royal assent to these treaties. And she did that when? Was that 72?
72.
That she did that?
72, 73. 1st of January 73.
Yeah. Let's read this little list of other constitutional rights. It says, other constitutional rights given by these contracts. The right to bear arms. So you're all right, lads and lasses. The right to petition the sovereign. Well, yeah, great. Difficult to do it because he's deaf. Free men cannot be imprisoned without cause. The government cannot arrest any man because he disagrees with the government's policies. Habeas corpus is not to be denied, innocent until proven guilty, and your right to report unlawful detention to a court. No person will be compelled to make loans to the king, and there will be no tax without the approval of Parliament. Soldiers and sailors will not be billeted on civilians. Government will not impose martial law during peacetime. I think that is martial law the only one that they haven't done yet.
It's getting there.
I know.
It's getting there, mate.
Yeah.
But if we look at the second one up, what does it say there? No, soldiers and sailors will not be billeted
on civilians. Yeah.
So what's the police force then?
What, that we pay for?
We will.
Yeah.
Do we pay for them? Or is
don't
the
know.
state paying for them?
They're a limited... Aren't they a corporation now? I don't know if they were when Peel set it up. I've no idea.
No, they weren't a corporation when Peel set it up. It had to have, and it was, Peel had, I think, 20 men when it started off.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the consent of the people and they chased basically highwaymen and, thieves in markets and stuff when big markets were on. They were employed to do that. And then everybody thought, oh, this is a good idea. It stops these little tearaways nicking stuff and we're not losing money. And it sort of spread from there. But 1972, it's 1973, Lancashire Police Force has been incorporated. It's been under license since 1972.
And I guess all the others have followed suit or were already
Correct.
in that position anyway. Yeah.
Well, they've all followed suit. And
Yeah.
this is where they set it out from, that they could get away with it. Because there's no police officer now has the consent of the people.
No.
They're all private corporations of a region or division. And the police officers, as to the College of Policing, are not employed in the usual manner and are basically self-employed micro corporations working under license with the regional division. It's a bit complicated, but you've got to sort of understand. I'm trying to make it easy for people to...
Yeah, you just need to run at this several times. It's a bit like you've got to chew it over again and again till it all starts to sink in. It takes a bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Peel's original sort of notes about, I don't know what he referred to it as, the police force? I don't know what the term was that he used.
He used constables.
Right, but it's quite sound, actually.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It struck me as being quite sound. He said, look, this is a body of men that wear uniforms. However, it basically is the responsibility of all of us within our nation to act and keep up the law. These people have just got some additional powers that we're going to grant them, but you're working with them. I go, okay, cool. We don't want an unlawful place, and unlawfulness does spring up from time to time. We're no different to any other group of people. We've got a criminal element, and it seems to always have been there, just like any other people, right?
Yep.
So, and I remember reading his notes, going, "That seems sound. I'd go for that. That's common sense. It seems okay." And because it was about effectively alerting or giving notice to the individual, I don't want to call us citizens, man and woman in the land and on the land, that this is your home too, and we have to work together on this kind of stuff.
We have to protect each other. That's
absolutely.
how it should be. I mean, in days gone by, you lipped off at a cop, he give you the clip round lug, and then you knew, then not being awful, but you knew if you knocked on the door, you were going to get another 2 batterings.
Yeah. Where do you live?
And
I'm taking you home. We're going to have a chat, you and me, lad, with your dad. Oh, crap.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all gone. And it's all no, like, bang him up, lock him up. Well, you can't lock me up. The Bill of Rights says you can't lock me up. You have to prove I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Gone out the window. Our liberties have now gone. Our rights have now gone. You are guilty on a presumption. A magistrate who has absolutely no authority, who is no more than a numpty, says he can jail you. Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it.
The paragraph after this little list is worth reading out as well.
Yeah.
This is the author of the document. It says this: the right to bear arms, because you'll recall it was in that list. The right to bear arms gives every person the right to self-defense using reasonable force, including deadly force if appropriate. Using tragic events, here's current times for you, you'll all recognize this. Using tragic events as an excuse to remove that right has historically been the work of governments with good reason to fear their people. Governments intent on some kind of future totalitarian control of their populations. I'm sure that's not necessarily news to everybody, but it's always worth repeating these things. That's exactly... Who is it? Something when people fear the government, you've got tyranny. When governments fear the people, that's the situation that is required. I mean, they do need to fear us. They actually really do, and they probably do. It's just, I suppose, that they're resting on the phenomenal control that they've got through the mainstream media to effectively keep people in a state of mild to extreme anxiety with this, that, and the other. as H.L. Mencken, what did he call it? I don't know if you know about Mencken. He was a fantastic journalist in America about 100 years ago. And he said it's just about governments are there to basically plague people with hobgoblins of the mind. Fictions and scares, scaremongering, and that's basically what they're doing all the time. What's the modern phrase for it now? I can't remember. It's named after that film, gaslighting. That's really what they're in, the gaslighting business. Very much.
It's
so.
all nonsense. But the maxim of law in common law says every man has the right to bear arms.
Yeah,
and they can't beat it. That law of the land is the highest law, anything apart from the Constitution, and the Constitution is the law of the land. It's as simple as that. But they've got us now hovering off the land, anchored to the land as perpetual debt vessels. Their language is absolutely diabolical.
So the layman's law book is very much needed, isn't it? As a pamphlet or something, because you know this.
Sorry, just to interrupt there, and I apologise for that. But no, we've allowed them to bring in thousands upon thousands of absolutely unconstitutional, repugnant to the constitutional statutes. We've had, and it's proven, and I just want you to read the Coronation Oath Act at the top of page 19.
Yes. Okay.
Because I think this will bring it a little bit further into clearer for us, for me to
You want me to read the whole thing? It's just over a page.
Just the first paragraph will do, I think.
Yeah, you just butt in. Okay, first paragraph. So this is the Coronation Oath Act from 1688.
And it can't be repealed. It can't be changed. They have to say the Coronation Oath Act. It's simple as that.
Did Charles say this then recently when he got... He didn't?
No, he altered it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh. So he's not lawful in it, but he's a liege lord, so he's just pretending to be a king. Right, got it.
Yep.
The coronation oath is the freely taken, and mutual covenant between the monarch and the people of Britain. England, I'm going to say, and Scotland and Wales. Oh, England and Wales. During the coronation ceremony, the people effectively elect the monarch, and in return, the monarch swears the coronation oath. This oath includes the promise to cause law and justice in mercy to be executed. It is therefore the monarch's promise to preserve our law, especially our constitutional law.
Gone. Been removed. Completely repealed out of every court in England.
Mm-hmm.
That's treason.
So there's a vacancy, isn't there, Robin?
Yep.
For a king?
Yep.
For a monarch?
Or do we actually do what I've sort of stated now and put in a Lord Protector? And that's easily done, very easily done under the 60. Well, I won't give him a tip. So I'm going to put my hand over my mouth very quickly before I nearly give the game away.
Don't spill the beans just yet.
Yeah. No. There's an act, and it's from, I think it's 1651.
Okay.
That allows you to put in a new Lord Protector in England.
I mean, the thing about these structures that we put in place, just as a sort of an aside, standing back a bit and looking at it, is it seems to me that practically every sort of structure that we've put in place, whether it's a physical building or an organization or these sorts of things, in nearly all cases, they start off with absolutely sound intentions. And yet these structures, particularly the communication part, gets infiltrated by the traitors within over a period of time. Look, I'm not expecting an answer now. It's just an open-ended question, really. What mechanisms could we put in place to reduce the possibility? I don't think you could completely exclude it because there'll always be some cunning minds. But to reduce it completely, maybe the death penalty is a really effective deterrent.
No. But honestly, God, you could not have sort of open-ended that question, because I'm going to give you the answer. Well, I'm not going to give you the answer. The paperwork that I've sent is going to give you the answer.
Right.
So if you read the next two paragraphs, right?
From 6 British monarchs, you want me to read that bit? Okay, so 6 British monarchs have been deposed in one form or another, having been deselected for their failure to maintain the rights and liberties of the people. They were Ethelred, Richard II, Henry VI, Charles I, executed, James II, and Edward VIII. We have a tripartite government in this country. Parliament, the judiciary, and the monarchy are intended to provide protections and limits on each other. One of those limiting powers is royal assent.
Now, this boyo, these liege lord, is now issuing, and Parliament are issuing themselves royal assent. Big no-no.
Yeah.
Right? And if you look at that, we've already got rid of 6 kings for not upholding the law and justice, breach of the Coronation Oaths Act 1688, breach of the people's trust, and the fact that, what does it say there? The Parliament, the judiciary, and the monarchy are intended to provide protections and limits on each other. That is the Separation of Powers Act. That's why it was thrown in there, to back up the Coronation Oaths Act. That none of these circles could ever join, touch, never mind, literally meld into one. And that's what's happened since 1972. The judiciary is tainted. Parliament is absolutely
shot.
Well, it's just an arbitrary cesspit. I'm sorry, but it is. And you've got the monarch that's about as realistic as the man in the moon. You might as well tell me the moon's made of cheese. I've got more belief in that than I have of this guy, right? And here we are, the absolute solution in law, remove him. He's broken his contract with the English people, right? It is the English constitution. It's not the British constitution. They changed it, right? Once we got Scotland and what have you in there, he has to go say a different oath. That's why they've got the Scottish oath in there, right? But Wales is a principality, so Wales is now tied to England permanently forever.
Right.
Right? And this is what we've got to understand, right? So this has been done so underhandedly, so absolutely in treason, that there's no place for these people to hide. None of it.
No, I mean, they've been basically putting dust and covering this up for a couple of 100 years at least. It's a gradual process of removing it from public view so that the public don't even know that these documents and these structures, these actual constitutional laws exist. Therefore, they can't apply them because the words don't come out of their mouth.
No, and the fact is what they've done now is removed all the courts to statutory license paper courts, administrative courts. That's why there's no imperial crown seal on any document. That's why none of the courts have got any great seals. The Queen went round in 1953 and gave every court a seal of common law. It was removed in 72. Every one of them. States it in the Local Governments Act 1972. All courts of administrative, all lower courts of common law are being abolished.
So they're not actually courts.
No, the tribunal centres. They're working.
What is a tribunal? Where something is heard. What is a tribunal?
That's it. That's a tribunal where something is heard, and who you have to give it consent to be heard. You have to be a party under contract, and give it written consent and agreed to be heard by a tribunal. We never have. They did it behind our backs in an act of treason by breaching Lord Kilmore's letters, states it very clearly, the Constitution, Coronation Oaths Act, Supremacy, Primary Act, 1351 and 1397, working to a foreign power, breach of the Bill of Rights, can't do that, repealing the Magna Charta, can't do that. Who are you? Who do you think you are, Parliament? You are nothing. You are nothing but the people's servants. And we put you there to conduct business of the state only. And we put you there for our benefit and you fail that benefit, you're gone. All this 5-year nonsense is repugnant to the Constitution. They're only allowed to do 4 years anyway, but because of the Falklands War, they had a divvy up. Oh, well, we'll all have a year extra.
Yeah.
No. 4 years. Councillors have 2 years each on wards. No, we want you all out. If the people stay out, you're sacked. Not your party. They've turned this now into a party parliament, which is you can only sack a councillor, you can only sack an MP if the vote of no confidence comes from their local party. And, you know, you snap these idiots set in Labour, they're like a Blackpool rock. It says Blackpool in middle, but now it says Labour. They're absolutely fundamentally lunatics. And I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Labour is going to be whitewashed. It's finished as the Labour Party. There's no knob of the North coming to save you.
No. Really?
Right.
It said in the newspaper, Robin, that it would. And the newspapers wouldn't lie to me, surely.
Oh, surely. And the BBC thinks he's absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
well, you know, if they had 2 brain cells amongst them in the BBC, they wouldn't even know what to do with that. I mean, it's...
Well, I can't wait till Trump gets finished with them and takes 10 billion off them.
As soon as it goes, the sooner it goes down the shitter, the better, really, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it does. And
by the way, just to let you know, the document that we're talking about, everybody, if you're not a member yet of the FFT Telegram group, you need to become one. I've just posted it in there so you can get a copy right now. It's the latest post. It's obviously gone in at round about 8:43 this evening, and I've just put a little note. The above document was covered, it's still being covered actually right now live, in the Merry Men that aired earlier today, which is right now. So there you go. So if you want to go and grab a copy, join the Telegram group, start using it because it's growing quite well. We've got well over 300 people in there, and it's just the sort of information that we want, and it's quite readable. 58 pages, you can all do that. It'd be great.
Listen,
seriously.
We've tried to make this as easy as possible for people. The guy that wrote this, and I doubt my hat to him, he absolutely perfect. When the second one
crystal
comes
clear.
out,
it's really clear.
You know, the second one comes out, hopefully you'll have a bit more knowledge, a bit more understanding, and we can get a little bit more technical and draft your knowledge up that little bit of a level as well. Just a quick, I've just noticed the question from Alice Gorgeous. What are we going to do about it? Well, what gets me is there's about 500,000 of them and about 57 million of us. So if you go back to the cartoon of the locusts and the grasshoppers, or the ants and the grasshoppers, you tell me. And
it's all in there. If any one of them, what does he say? He says something like, if any one of them gets it into their head, if they begin to see how much they outnumber us, our way of life is over.
Correct.
Because that's what it's their way of life. And it needs to be over because it's our way of death, unfortunately. That's how they induce it. It's not good.
You know, and to be fair, if we just finish off page 19, just to give them a little bit more taste of this, because I think we'll finish with this document at the end of page 19, and we hope that we've wet your whistle. And apologies,
mine's very wet. I just had a slurp of water. It's that wet is my whistle, but
you know, and literally, we hope that you're going to download this, get this out to everybody that you know. And go, here's the facts. You can't beat the facts. It's there. It's proven.
It's excellent. It's really good. It's just crisp and clean and clear. So the last paragraph on page 19 reads as follows. We are told by Parliament that the last time a bill was rejected by the Sovereign was in 1707 when Queen Anne rejected the Scottish Militia Act. This is far from the truth. Queen Victoria refused a bill on homosexuality because it contained references to lesbians on the grounds she did not believe women could engage in such activity. Good old Queenie. The bill had to be rewritten with all reference to lesbianism removed before it received the assent. King Edward VII refused what became the 1911 Parliament Act because it was unconstitutional and removed a protection from his subjects. There you go. There's one actually batting for the people, going to bat for the people, doing his job.
Yep.
Then, at least on that occasion. I don't know about all the
this
other ones,
is what they fear. They fear us clinging back to our constitutional roots, our constitutional rights, and the documents that prove that everything these scumbags are doing is not only wrong, it's criminal, it's treason, and it contends the death penalty. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to take every, what I call modern man now, to wake up and go, do you know what? This could be right. This just is right. It just is right. Because it is. That's the key
yes,
to
it
this.
is. It's
It
absolutely
is.
right. Yeah, it is. It's
You know,
clear.
And it's as clear as the brightest day on the beach. You know, where you can see the horizon 3,000 miles away. It is that clear. And what they've done is repugnant at every level. Destruction of the community, destruction of the family home, destruction of family, destruction of the people, the inhabitants of these lands for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yes.
By the will of the few to enslave us into the perpetual debt vessel to keep the state afloat, because it spends our money and creates money for itself and literally fritters it away. It puts it in its own back pocket.
Of course.
And that's proven time and time and time again. And we are lied to every minute of every day. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's to keep us in a state of permanent weakness. Just enough to keep you ticking over, but not enough for you to actually be able to fully grow up. It keeps you in a state of arrested development physically and all sorts of other things. I'm just looking at this. We've still got a few minutes. We've got about 10 minutes left. You know, there's that little section. There's a couple more paragraphs that are probably worth reading before we come to the end of that section. It says, since 1960, the royal assent has been granted by a committee of 5 barons appointed by the government of the day to give what has become known as the automatic assent. This is, of course, unconstitutional. Is that the case today, Robin? Are there still 5 barons? Do we know who they are?
Barons, are they? They're house lords. They're
Is that
people that have been brought in to support the state and hold the state up. This is why it's treason, because no baron, it's got to have royal assent. When did a baron have royal assent? It doesn't. He's a baron underneath the king. The king is royal. He is the sovereign. The people are the sovereigns. He is working from our sovereignty for the protection of us, not the dismantling of us.
He's like the referee in some regards, then, is the king. He ensures, or his true role is to ensure that the law is kept by everyone and that nothing breaches it. Right.
Correct. That includes Parliament and the judiciary. If the judiciary break the law, they're gone. Simple as that. That's how it used to be.
No man is above the law, but of course they found a way to make sure that nobody can perceive what they're doing.
There is no law. There is no law in England. It's statutory rules. And we make the rules so we can break and change them. And every time you get near, we'll just change that bit so it now says this.
Well, Charles has given up all right to even be thought of as a king now because he's just arsing about with all this Muslim stuff. Well, he did. I don't think it's him, by the way, that's doing that necessarily. I think he's very much a puppet of the merchants. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's if it's him. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, right? He's not my king. He's not the king of England. He's not the king of Great Britain. He is, as declared, a liege lord. Yeah. And he now has Parliament sworn to him. He has the police sworn to him, judges sworn to him, and they all claim to work for the king. Well, he's not. So
they're like a mafia with their own code. Are they not?
Literally 400, 500,000 people that are sworn to this liege lord.
Yeah.
And literally, that's it.
They're maintaining a stranglehold on the good people of these lands. That's what they're doing.
Everybody's telling, if we stood up and went round to their downs 50, 60 mob-handed, rag
Yeah.
them out of their houses, put them in handcuffs, put them in their jails,
Yes.
our jails.
Yes.
Said you're staying there till we fetch you to a proper court of law.
Yeah.
All the councillors, all the heads of these departments,
Yes.
and remove the king. Well, he's not the king. He's removed himself.
Yeah, we don't have to
He's
remove
removed
him.
himself.
It's creating awareness that this is the true situation, isn't it? This is part of the... But it's a good challenge. Couple more paragraphs. It goes, nevertheless, royal assent remains there as the exclusive authority of the monarch, to be used when necessary on behalf of the people. While government is tripartite, we the people must recognise our role in demanding, this is the bit that this is the stage we've got to get to now, and we're on our way to it, our just and humane governance, which is currently sadly lacking. We must demand that Parliament fulfil its constitutional accountability to us. If we are unhappy with the manner in which we are governed, anybody happy with the manner in which we're being governed? No? I don't see. It's a desert out there. I don't see any hands going up. If we are unhappy with the manner in which we are governed, we have no right to a remedy until we are willing to act in our own defence. Key sentence. That's right. We must demand that our government, our politicians and our monarch fulfil their oaths. If they fail, we must seek redress elsewhere. Elsewhere is a big word in this context.
It is.
It really
because
is.
the
It's a
judiciary's
big bloody
gone.
word, that. Yeah, it's
The
true.
judiciary's gone. It's part of them. It's part of Parliament.
Yeah.
Because Parliament now pay them £150,000 a year and give them a 24-carat golden handshake and pension of astronomical kindness for doing a crap job. So they are now corrupted, biased to Parliament's legislation. The monarch is no more. He is only a liege lord. And it's stated in publication, open public publication. And so what are we doing, guys? So everybody keeps saying, right, Robin, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Why are you asking me? Why don't you look in the mirror and ask the guy in the mirror or the lady in the mirror? What are you going to do? Let's start there. Then come and talk to me.
This is like the instruction kit to building a model. It's all here. All the parts are here. Really, I didn't even know. Yeah, they are. Here's the instruction set. This is what it's supposed to look like. But it doesn't look like that right now. No, it doesn't. Because no one's been paying attention to the instruction set. Here it is. We've got it. And it's old. And that counts. And it is literally in everybody's bones. That's why everybody's railing. It's in your bones. It's in your blood. That's what counts
DNA.
for this stuff.
It's our DNA.
Literally, it is.
This little nation conquered the world. And you're telling me that we can't conquer 450 corrupt, dirty scumbags that think that they can have arbitrary authority over us and send their little mafia goons in, the little Nazi squads. Get a grip, people. Wake up, smell the coffee, and then sit and have a conversation with the man in the mirror or lady in the mirror. Then come back and tell me what you want to do. Simple as that, guys. It can all be done by paperwork, and it can all be done in a peaceful transition. And then we recreate the courts under common law and constitutional monarchy.
Yeah.
We put in proper parliamentary officers, not these Mickey Mouse corporate fictions that they've got working in there now, under fake oaths and fake attestations to the liege lord. And we remove the monarch because he's now just breached that he is no longer the defender of the faith, Christianity.
Could we run an advert in the back of the Times? Vacancy, wanted, king, monarch.
Yep. Or
nation,
like I
absent
stated,
one.
Yeah. Or we go for the Lord Protector. Get rid of the monarchy. Why would you pay? How many millions do we pay these leeches? And for their palaces? Now they're on about selling Buckingham Palace. What?
I mean,
I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard it on the,
Yeah.
And I was like, that can't be right. That's got to be absolute. That is a.
It won't surprise me because I think it's not so much that they need any more money, purchasing power, really, do they? They don't. I think what they're very keen on is that you and I don't get any. So that we have more time and energy available to pursue something like this. So it's to keep us weak by keeping you anxious about these things. And the other part that's come in, particularly over the last few decades, it's always been there, is the demoralization process. And therefore, you could look at the purported selling off of Buckingham Palace, allegedly, as one of those acts. Oh, this will dispirit them even more. And there's a certain section of our population that would be greatly dispirited by that, who don't know that this conversation's going on and don't know the contents of this document at the moment. Currently, they don't know that. Yeah.
And you tie that in with Lord Kilmore's letter and a few other little bits of golden nuggets. All of a sudden, your knowledge becomes trebled. You become, hang on a minute, you literally starve for the next bit of knowledge, the nuggets that you're looking for. And they're out there. They're easily got.
Tune in next week, everybody, for more merit. Brilliant show, Robin. Absolutely fantastic. Get over to Telegram and pick up that document. We'll send you more links, and we'll see you all next week. Hang out in the forest with the merry men.
Take care.